Hey, everybody. This is Adam, host of all podcasts, including Hey Unpopular, which is taking the week off on account of how me and Jeff spent a good part of last week at San Diego Comic-Con doing a live episode of the Sus Stories with a Tiff Myers podcast, a podcast you can hear right on this damn network, by the way. Go check it out. We had a great time, but it did not leave us much time to record a new episode of the pod. Don't worry, though. We do have something new for you to listen to. This is the most recent episode of You Don't Even Like This Band, where we are in the thick of covering Midwest music legend John Mellencamp. And when I say we are in the thick of it, I mean we are pretty much done with the season. What you're going to listen to today was supposed to be a bonus episode, but because we didn't record anything for this here time slot, we're putting this up instead. If you want to hear all the rest of the John Mellencamp season of You Don't Even Like This Band, you sure can do that. It's all out already. Just look for You Don't Even Like This Band wherever you get your podcasts, or go to youdont'evenlike.com/YDELTB. You know, it's short for You Don't Even Like This Band, except with a lot less letters. And anyway, we'll be back next week with a new episode of Hey Unpopular. Until then, enjoy this episode of You Don't Even Like This Band about the one and only movie John Mellencamp ever made. It's called Fallen from Grace, and it is batshit crazy. Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
Welcome to You Don't Even Like This Band, a podcast about bands you probably don't even like.
We hope you don't know this one.
With your hosts, Adam Todd Brown, Andy Sell, and Travis Clark.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to a bonus episode of You Don't Even Like This Band, the John Mellencamp season. I am but just one of your hosts, Adam Todd Brown. Who but else is here?
I am but two of your hosts, Captain Bonep, Travis Clark.
Captain Bonep.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
I'm Andy Knucklehead Mellencamp.
And that makes us your hosts. And again, this is a bonus episode. The John Mellencamp season is technically over, but if you're a subscriber, boy, are you in for a treat today, because we are talking about John Mellencamp's one and only film, the 1992 romantic drama, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of a God, there's a lot of it's a multi-hyphenate genre mashup.
What genres would you put this in, Andy?
Wait, let me at least tell people the name of the movie before.
Yeah.
It's called Falling from Grace. It's available wherever movies are available. Go on. What were you saying?
Midwest Gothic.
Sure.
That's what I'm going with it.
This movie, I texted you both last night. This is going to be a fun episode because I feel like normally it's me and Andy on one side of things and Travis on the other, especially with this Mellencamp season.
It's true.
And
that is true. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Mm-hmm.
Because me and Travis seem to be of the consensus agreement that this is one of the most absurd films we've ever watched. And Andy loves it.
Yeah,
I do love it.
Andy's going to defend this as if it is some sort of inalienable right that should be allowed to all humans. And I am saying, what did I watch? What was that?
I think this movie should be taught in public schools.
Yeah, don't do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this there's a lot of lessons that could be taken away from this movie for sure.
There's a lot of important lessons in this movie there's a lot of challenging conversations and universal themes.
You got don't name someone Spec. Don't fuck your brother's wife.
Don't fuck your father's mistress, who is also your brother's wife.
Right.
Who is also your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Don't fuck your son's wife. All sorts of lessons to be learned here. This is, so Andy did most of the notes. And
that's why they're kind of a mess.
I'm going to let Andy kind of guide us through this as
that's a mistake.
Yeah, I know.
I was telling Adam before we were Andied. I had a very different idea of where this movie was going, and the fact that it never went there was disappointing to me.
We should set up the first scene, then we'll let Travis say where he thought it was going, because I actually believe, and me and Travis talked about this before we started recording, if it went the way Travis thought it was going to go, this movie would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Here's the opening scene. No music, no credits, just cut to John Mellencamp firing a gun in the air, standing in the back of a flatbed truck.
Saying, I've done this a million times before.
Yeah. And his friends seem concerned. He's firing this gun. And then all of a sudden, he says something like, I've done all I can do.
I've done all I can do. Yeah.
Nothing else I can do.
And then lays inside a cage in the back of the truck. They close the cage, lock it, freeze frame. Movie starts.
Yeah.
What is happening?
That's what we call an en media res. You know, that's a seminal event. It's a literary device they're using here to get us intrigued by something we're going to see later. You know,
Sure.
For sure. And I love that it cuts to this from that like warm, nostalgic glow of the Columbia Pictures logo. The lady with the torch. You see that lady with the torch, you know you're in for something good.
Unless you're watching this movie.
Yeah. Again, disagree.
So, Travis, when you saw this opening scene,
what did you think?
I thought he knew he was a werewolf. He walked away to protect everybody.
Fuck, Travis.
That would have made so much more sense. That opening scene would have made all the sense in the world.
That's all I needed. You know what? That's all I needed debate over, Travis. You're right. If I'd had werewolf in my head at the beginning of this movie too, which is insane that I didn't, by the way. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, I know. I thought for sure this must have occurred to Andy as well.
This is Kalshi money here. This is like
except I could see this being a thing where he's just like a fuck werewolf.
Yeah. Well, he comes from a fuck wolf family. So.
He sure does. He comes from a long lineage of fuck wolves.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to make John Fuck Wolf Mellencamp now the movie because.
Or
God
maybe
damn.
I guess if we want to like kind of cash in on his name, he could be a were cougar. Like he could turn into you know, some sort of were animal, you know? Yeah.
Is he public domain yet? Like Popeye? So we can start making horror movies about him.
Betty Boop. Yeah. He it's interesting then because, you know, cougar, he didn't choose that name either.
Right.
It's sort of like a metaphor, the being bit by a were cougar, you know, that's what that's talking about. That's what it's addressing.
So when I see two friends locking a man into a wrought iron steel cage, seemingly like him accepting his fate. He's just said, I've done all I can do. And then I was like, okay, so we're dealing with something supernatural. He knows he's going to turn, he's going to morph, and his buddies are helping him make sure he doesn't do any more damage.
It's kind of perfect too, because he is sort of like throughout this movie, he has this like Lon Chaney Jr. hangdog, like, oh, why me kind of thing about him, like in the Wolfman movie. I've tried science. I've tried traditional medicine and folk remedies. I've tried every killing the wolf that bit me.
I've tried every vagina in my small town. I'm out of options.
A few of the dicks.
Yeah.
Fuck my way through a small town.
Now I gotta get my friends to lock me in a cage so I don't get out and fuck more.
Pay for lots of abortions in a small town.
Despite all my fucking, I'm just John Mellencamp Cougar in a cage. Right? The smashing cougars?
Oh, the smashing cougars. Yeah. Totally.
So, Andy, will you do your best to tell people what this movie is about?
Yeah, I'll try. Look,
and help me understand too, please.
It's a prodigal son / on small town America ensemble portrait. Like John Mellencamp plays a famous country singer who is coming back to his small town in Indiana, and it was filmed in Seymour, Indiana, where he's from, like you said. And he comes back there. He's trying to fit in. He doesn't really fit in. He reconnects with an old flame. Some family dramas resurface. And it's your typical like character study slash, ethnographic survey of middle America. And it gets real kind of Flannery O'Connor in places. And there's some incest isn't the right word.
No, it's incest in law, though.
In law, yeah. Yeah, there's some extramarital activities happening within legal family confines.
But that predate him. Like, he's coming home to his sister-in-law, who is his original first girlfriend, or at least ex-girlfriend, first love. She's in the midst of a tryst with his father.
Yeah. That reveal, by the way, in my notes, I was like, oh gosh, so the dad wants to fuck his daughter-in-law. That's kind of gross. And the very next scene is her being like, so I'm fucking your dad.
Yeah.
He comes back with his wife, Alice, played by Mariel Hemingway, who's a Los Angeles big city gal. She's kind of got a little Green Acres thing going on.
Yeah, and she's of age, so it's okay to be obsessed with her. Unlike another movie she's in.
Oh.
Yeah, I wonder how autobiographical this was, because this came out fresh off of his divorce to that woman he met at the record label in Los Angeles.
Yep.
When he says in the song Small Town, met an LA doll and brought her to the small town. That's who he's talking about.
Yeah, and that's in this movie.
And right around the same time this movie came out, he divorced her. And it's funny because there's a line in this movie where he's talking about getting divorced, and he's talking to one of his brothers, not the one whose wife he's fucking. And his brother's like, man, I think you really messed up. She was a good one. And Mellencamp's like, well, I guess it's on me to go find something better. And here's the thing. In real life, he kind of did.
Yeah, there's a lot in the autobiographical stuff in this that's kind of concerning, or kind of like, I don't know how much, because he does an interview. We saw an interview. I don't know if you guys watched it. I watched it, where he's asked like how much of this is autobiographical, and he kind of dodges it, because there's a lot of stuff in this film that it's like, wow, if that's from your life, you suck. And there's like, most of this movie is people telling him that he's full of shit or that he's an asshole, and most of the time they're right.
And he is kind of a shitty family member in general, because one of the first things we see is him landing his private jetty at some small town airport and hopping off like the king of goddamn Siam.
Yep.
And then going and having all these conversations with family members who are like, man, I'm like $40,000 in debt. It's like, John, sell the plane and help your family and quit fucking your brother's wife.
There's a lot of talk about the economy and people struggling financially in this film. And it's kind of, I think, geniusly juxtaposed with that song he keeps singing about, I got the hungers for your love waiting in the welfare line. And he comes off of a private jet singing that fucking song. And it's like, what welfare line are you standing in, bro? You just got off a private jet.
We call them PJs, FYI.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if you contrast that image, right, of the first time you meet him in this film with the last time you see him in this movie, I don't know, like, that says it all. Like, yeah, we hate this guy, or we don't hate him, but like, Mellencamp empathizes with him. And that's sometimes like in that interview where he dodges the autobiographical question, and he's sort of just like, well, I stayed in Indiana. I didn't leave, so it's not about me. And it's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that, dude. And he also goes into like, well, he's in a situation beyond his control and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, hold on, because multiple times in this film, he brings up, why don't you just use my trucks? I got a bunch of trucks.
Yeah, use my shit.
Why don't you take my money? I'm trying to buy stuff. And it's like, that's the thing, is that like, I understand that like the way that his character is developed in this film through the reveals of the past and who he was before he left, and all of these women that knew him telling him like, you never fit in here, you're the only thing his dad even says this, I think, that the only thing he gives a shit about is his money. And so that's his currency. That's like how he buys his place into a community, but you can't do that. It doesn't work.
There's that one guy who's like, I'm tired of being a charity case, and he's like, you've earned every dime you get, and he goes, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, that's Bob, right? Bobby.
Yeah.
who is that? I can't remember if he's supposed to be, if he's in the band or if he's like a manager or
He's
a
like
security
does something
guy.
else because there's the guy who's in the band who's like later in the movie is like it reminded me of the real thing that happened when the band was like, you got to give us more money.
Yeah.
But it's like his take on it where the guy goes, yeah, man, you pay me enough. I just don't respect you anymore.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah, dude. There are so many great scenes like that in this film that are kind of just like, fuck you to him from, and he's smart enough, I think, maybe not as a director, but as someone put in this position to direct a feature film that he's also starring in, to kind of like make himself just sort of reacting to everybody else and giving them sort of more space in the scenes, just like from a directing and acting standpoint. I think that that's smart.
Yeah.
But it does kind of, it means the dialogue sometimes gets a little overwritten, but there are little chestnuts like that. Like, I just don't respect you.
There's also a scene where he and one of the brothers are about to go to a country club, and the brother's like, I'm not dressed for a country club. And John Mellencamp goes, it's a country club.
Yeah, he's qualifying all of this. You know?
And it's like, oh, I get exactly what he means. Yeah, throw on your best Under Armour sweatshirt and go to the country club.
This is my dress tank top. We'll be fine. And they actually show up in, like, one of the brothers shows up in a tank top, and despite by the way, here's one of my qualms with it. I don't know who was miking these actors, but in the very beginning, I can hear them walking more than I can hear them talking. And then in that country club scene where they're meeting like some country club maitre d' who's going to be like, oh, it's the shirt and tie affair. I had to read his lips. I had no idea what he was saying. Like,
really? Did you watch
I watched the YouTube link that you sent.
Oh, that might be why. Whoops.
Yeah, I watched it I
rented it. Yeah. I was like looking for a DVD because I wanted to see if there were any special features, because there's not a lot of information about the development and production of the film online.
I want to own this on DVD so I can sit new people in my life down and be ready to watch the craziest movie you've ever seen. Here's what I found really interesting about this movie. It did get pretty decent reviews. John Mellencamp's performance was reviewed pretty well. So you might be wondering, well, John, how come you never did a movie again? And I feel like we get our answer right away, because there's a scene after he lands that private jet and he heads off to the house he's going to, and he's talking to everyone in the living room, and he is chomping on a toothpick that is the size of a fucking Louisville Slugger. And in that moment, I was like, he can't smoke.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is being tortured right now. Because reminder, this is a man who at this point in his life was smoking at minimum 5 packs of cigarettes a day. And that is 100 cigarettes a day.
And this is 1991 that this was filmed. So it's not like smoking in film is a big taboo. It's becoming a taboo, but it's not. And yeah, other people smoke in the film. His character, like, I think it's insinuated that he smokes.
He smokes one time in this. Yeah. It would be like if Flavor Flav was in a movie and never wore his clock, and then in one scene he's got it and then never has it again.
So my theory about this, because I wondered the entire time too, like, why there's packs of cigarettes sitting on his nightstand next to an ashtray with butts in it.
Yes,
he smokes. This character is canonically a smoker. We see him smoke once, and I can't even remember when, but you never see him smoke other times, and it got me thinking, like, why would he do this? Oh, it's a continuity issue. He has to smoke so much that if he was smoking in every scene, it would be a disaster for editing.
Yeah, those cigarettes would all be different lengths.
They would all be different lengths.
That makes sense.
So I think that's it, is just like, well, we can't make it match, so I'm just going to not smoke in every scene. And I think you're onto something, that might be why he never made another movie.
Yeah.
I have a addendum to that. The scene that we talk about where he has the gun and he's firing it off, I think that gun goes off a few more times than anyone planned. And I think a lot of people were like, I don't want to work with this guy again.
He's shooting guns.
The gun just keeps going. We agreed to shoot it once. It went off 3 more times. And once was very close to my head. I don't want to do this again.
The cage thing wasn't even in the script. He was just...
It occurred to him guys, I got an idea. Just roll.
And roll he did.
We should talk about the scene that kind of sets up the central conflict in this movie. They're at a party of some sort. I think they're at the country club, and he runs into an ex-flame named PJ.
Played by Kay Lenz.
Yeah.
And that's PJ, not short for private jet, Travis. I don't want you to get confused.
But she kind of is a private jet because
she's kind of a public private jet.
Well, no, she's a private jet. If you're willing the upkeep, you can take a ride. So she's a private jet.
Public's not actually. It's a family private jet.
That's true.
From this conversation they're having at first, I couldn't quite tell, is this John Mellencamp's ex-girlfriend? Is this John Mellencamp's brother's wife? Is this John Mellencamp's dad's girlfriend? Yeah. And the answer is yes.
Yes. The answer is
all
yes.
Of those things.
All of the above. And I love that. I love that her introduction into this film happens so slowly. You know, we see her. She's in that scene where he meets his brother for the first time in a while. And we very clearly understand right away that this brother's a fucking asshole. Yeah. So we don't mind that he's being cheated on.
Parker? Not the favorite son, Parker. Yeah, the one.
Park. Yeah.
Yeah, the white tuxedo brother.
Yeah, I loved his character. By the way, that guy was great.
I love it. Yeah, the movie is full of fascinating characters, and he is like the way he dances in the party scene too. It's just like, oh wow, you're just completely all around not a human being.
Yeah. That guy was great.
She's in the background of that scene just waiting in the car, and then he goes over and says hi to her, and they have this like moment of silence, and Kay Lenz's face in that scene, that's all I needed to know. Like, oh, they used to fuck. Like, that's very clear. And it's just this nice quiet moment with the sound of a truck in the background, which lots of trucks in this movie, lots of truck talk, running truck themes. John Mellencamp's director's credit is over a shot of a truck. John likes trucks.
That's also what I deduce. When we meet the half brother, the illegitimate brother,
Raimi, who is played by Larry Crane, who was John Mellencamp's guitarist.
When they get into his truck, once he got off the private jet, it lurches forward because he asked him a question. He's like, when'd you get that new deer rifle? He's like, oh, I got whatever. And they go to drive off, and the truck lurches very unplanned, is what it felt like. And then Mellencamp just goes, should have bought a new truck instead. And it seems like, keep that. It just seemed like a
happy accident. And then they were just like, all right, Larry, put it in the script. We're going to reference it 4 more times.
That scene where they're setting up the big conflict here, which is that John Mellencamp's ex-girlfriend, who he was apparently very in love with.
Yeah, they were together, I think, all through high school or something. They were together for 4 years before he left.
They broke up. She married his brother.
Because he was the last best thing in town.
Right. Mm-hmm. And now she is cheating on his brother with their father.
Mm-hmm.
And John Mellencamp reacts to this in the only reasonable way a person could. He starts fucking PJ also.
That scene where he goes to her house and goes up the stairs, and it's like, I see their mouths coming together, and I'm like, your dad's dick was in there. Don't do it.
You're sucking your own dad's dick right now. That's gross.
Yeah. I was so put off by that. I was like, how do you move past that? Not only are you fucking my brother, you're fucking my father. All right, let's just throw me in the mix again too. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like at that point, I don't know. It's all chaos. But she says, right when she tells him, she goes, that's not much of a comment. I was expecting better because of his reaction. And it's like, I'm sorry. I love you, Kay Lenz. And I think I think PJ's an overall fascinating character. But yeah, in that scene, it's like, you don't have moral high ground here.
No one does in this. Well, I mean, I guess maybe the Parker guy that she's cheating on.
I mean, he's the victim, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, he seems like a piece of shit, but she also could have just not married him, you know? I didn't find any of these people sympathetic. I didn't feel especially bad for PJ. I mean,
I don't think you're supposed to feel bad for PJ.
Yeah.
I think that I'm kind of in awe of PJ. Like the reptile brain she has about it all, I think is so great. But it's also not a reptile brain. There's a lot of enlightenment in it. There's a lot of like, I'm accepting things as they are.
Yeah.
And John Mellencamp, your problem is you can't accept things as they are. And I don't know.
Also, it kind of bothered me that we don't ever find out what exactly his gripe with music was.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, I'm tired of it. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
They don't really. I feel like there's a lot that got cut because there are scenes that feel truncated. There are scenes that feel like, oh, the minute John Mellencamp starts talking, we cut because whatever he does with the dialogue doesn't work. Because, yeah, it doesn't cover any of the music stuff, except other than, like, I'm just tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe I'll come back and work at a chicken farm.
But there's all kinds of, like, threads that get laid down and never woven. Like, here's Grandpa. Grandpa's a coot. He's turning 79. Grandma wants to leave him. And then he's going to make a couple of like goofy faces. And then we'll never talk about or see him again.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because Dub Taylor was old as fuck. But I also think it's, there's a lot going on. And I think that a lot was probably cut for time. I think a lot was probably cut for performance. This was edited by a veteran editor that knew what they were doing. I can't remember what else they edited, but a bunch of good movies. Oh, Hunt for Red October, The Fugitive. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Chronicles of Riddick and Daredevil. So maybe not. But
if you put Mellencamp in a nuclear sub instead of the cage at the end, I think I'd have liked that better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the cage. It's thematically rich. There's a weird sense of like like small town Hellraiser in it, but also like a perversion, but also like it's a metaphor for what he does to himself. He puts himself in a cage because
it's also a thing I feel like has never happened.
That doesn't happen. That's not.
I don't know.
You would not. There is no, and we're kind of jumping ahead, but there's no way anyone has ever survived that. I get that he put a couple pillows down in the bottom of that steel cage, but you are going to bounce right the fuck around when you hit the road. You're going to fuck up your head.
Well, he was strapped in, right? Like they had like manacles and belts and stuff.
Yes, because he was going to turn into a werewolf. You had to keep him strapped down. You had to subdue him.
Before we get to the end, though, we should talk about some of the middle drama. Yeah. For one thing, he's having this affair with PJ, and this was my first thought when they get done doing it. My thought was, you're in a very small town and John Mellencamp has the nicest car in town.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to know you're at this woman's house. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later in some scene, one of his brothers is like, everyone knows you're fucking.
Yeah. That's in the roller rink scene, right?
No, they're like on the bank of they're going fishing or something. It's before the roller rink.
Oh, it's before the roller rink. Okay.
And it's funny because in the scene where they had the frolic or the affair, PJ talks about how careful she is. Mm-hmm. She's always saying like, oh, nobody knows I'm fucking your dad. They might be suspicious, but no one knows because I'm so careful, and all that stuff.
Yeah, she has that great line where she's like, you seem to think that because I like sex, I'm irresponsible.
Well, that's later when
that's when they're doing the thing down the stairs and it's a big fight.
I'm gonna be honest, she seems kind of irresponsible.
Self-awareness might not be PJ's strong suit.
No, but look, it's not my dad and it's not my brother, but I get the draw to PJ. I was like, oh, you're a put together woman who's like knows what she wants and like kind of complete chaos, but in a really beautiful package. Yeah, that's alluring to some people. Yeah. I could go. You throw my dad and my brother in the mix, I'm out. But that's me. I'm not a Mellencamp. Like I have to stop at that.
You're
point.
not from Indiana, Travis. That's the problem.
Speaking of the dialogue in this movie, PJ has one of my favorite lines. Her and John are having this conversation about their future, and Mellencamp's like, well, I want to be with you. And PJ goes, why would you tear up your family and tear up my family when we could just do what we want to do as long as we're smooth?
Yeah.
She didn't say careful. She didn't say discreet. She said, as long as we're smooth.
Yeah. And she goes, I'm about as smooth as they come.
Way, I might be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't think of that way.
Yeah. Like, there are times where the dialogue in this film, it stacks a little too heavily in certain scenes. But for the most part, and occasionally moments like that, it's Larry McMurtry doing what he does and giving us, like, what's the sixth word that came into your head for this, for a way to describe this, And it's poetry. I don't know. I love it. I love a lot of the dialogue in this film, and a lot of that is in PJ, like her lines and Kay Lenz's delivery. I mean,
she's great.
She's so good.
The best part of this movie, for sure.
Well, I think to me, my two favorite elements are her and then the character of the brother, who we haven't really talked about a lot. Not Parker, but the illegitimate brother.
Oh yeah,
the only one not fucking PJ in this family.
Well, now that you put it that way, he's of the ilk of Speck, but he is the least Speck-like compared to the other brothers.
Yeah, but ironically, he's the one Speck likes the most.
Right.
Because he's the least like Speck.
Yeah, I think that's it. Exactly.
He's a little off Speck.
Which, by the way, Speck, for people who don't remember, that's John Mellencamp's grandfather's actual name.
Yeah. And now the name of one of his sons.
It's a nickname, but that's what they called him. And yeah, Mellencamp actually named one of his sons Speck.
Yeah,
that's another thing I love about this movie. It's clearly aimed at a wide audience, but you have to be such a Mellencamp head to know why this character is named Speck.
Yes.
If you don't come in with that knowledge, you're going to watch this movie and be like, what the fuck kind of name is Speck?
Why are they calling that dude Speck? Yeah.
What the hell
Again,
is this?
I love that. I love going into a movie and asking questions like, what the fuck kind of name is that?
Can I tell you, my
that's weird to name that character that after your grandfather, and then to name your son that after what you did with that name in this movie.
Because we had talked about it, because I knew that was his grandfather's name. It was at that point in the movie that I had decided that this is basically Mellencamp's Seinfeld. He was like, I'm going to basically play me. It's about me. And people I know are in it, but they're played by other people. And it's ultimately about nothing.
Yeah. And he casts himself as a Seinfeld, but he's really the Kramer because it's just
he's got the Kavorka because he can't stop fucking.
He's got the act. He's the one that's got the schemes. Like, I'm going to put myself in a cage and drag it behind a chain, and I'm going to go fishing. I don't know why.
And he said the N-word at the Laugh Factory.
That's true. He did.
But it went over really well in Indiana.
How about the scene with Speck and John at the diner? That's pretty brutal.
Oh.
It is, but what about backing up to Speck and April? Because
Alice.
Alice. Yeah,
Mariel Hemingway.
Yeah. Because there's a scene where John just starts being super shitty to Alice, his current wife.
Yes, she's humming Amazing Grace, and he goes, "Would you just shut up?" Like, God damn, John.
That's the other lesson in this movie. Don't be married to John Mellencamp.
Correct.
But this is immediately after he found out that PJ has been sleeping with Speck.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's now decided, well, Speck is just fucking everybody. So he gets mad at Alice. Okay, Alice. He gets mad at Alice, and he's like, did he make a pass at you? Like, and she's like, if he did, I'd knock his block off. You'd know about it. Yeah. And then cut to like several scenes later.
Hey, remember when she said what she would do? Guess what?
She didn't do it.
She kind of, she smacks him in the face with a fucking frying pan.
Breaks his nose and then sicks a dog on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then his reaction, what I love about that scene is the sort of falling action in it where he's like, you're lucky you had that dog. And she goes,
it wasn't luck.
It wasn't luck. I planned it that way. And I love that. I love that, like, she, from John Mellencamp's fucking rant, she inferred, oh, dad's a problem. Maybe I should, and then she made a plan, and then she did it, and then she left.
Yeah.
Then she was like, by the way, although it's weird that she kind of made the decision to leave. I mean, it makes sense. She wanted to leave before, probably because he was being a piece of shit and she knew he was cheating on her. But like, she doesn't start the conversation about her leaving with, by the way, your dad tried to assault me. She says all this other shit and then ends it with, oh, by the way, your dad made a pass on me, and then smacks him. It's great. Yeah. Now I'm leaving this movie because I'm Mariel Hemingway and I have an Emmy to win.
Yeah. So then that kind of sets up the scene at the diner with John.
Yeah, with Claude Akins.
Which is...
God, what a big, physically intimidating man he was.
Yeah, and what a brutal conversation.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing and shortening it a lot, but it basically boils down to John being like, I feel like you don't love me. And his dad's like, I don't. By the way,
give me some money.
Yeah.
I love money. Can I have some?
Yeah, you're spot on there, son. I don't. The only thing I like about you is your money.
And then his dad gets kind of racist about it.
Yeah.
His dad's like, well, I've seen black people making more money than you doing what you're doing. And that is when John Mellencamp snaps and just gets absolutely dog-walked by his dad.
Yeah.
He gets the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, Claude.
In a diner. In front of people.
In front of everyone in this town that's been asking him for autographs for the last week.
Yeah. And then Speck goes, don't say I never did nothing for you, son. I paid for your lunch.
Yeah.
And he puts like $2 on his chest. And I'm like, I think the bill's more than that. Because, by the way, Speck is there like eating a meal. He's got a full meal. John sits down. Speck goes, I don't remember asking you to join me. And then they have that big fight. Mm-hmm. And then Mellencamp's first retaliation to his dad is to just put all of the breakfast on the floor. He just clears the whole table.
Yeah, it's a great scene. And it's got to be a treat for Mellencamp in that moment to be acting opposite this like veteran character actor, legendary Western star. Like, wasn't
he in a ton of Twilight Zones too?
Yeah, well, he was in a couple Twilight. Yeah, he was in one of the best ones, Monsters That Grew on Maple Street.
Yeah.
But he was. I mean, if there was a TV show in the 50s, he was in it. If or 60s, I think Dub Taylor was the same way. But they were both in like tons of westerns, and Claude Akins was in a bunch of noirs and played a cop a lot. Just a big, burly, tough guy. And I don't know. I just think that I just love watching that scene because it's like, how much of a treat must this be to be sitting opposite this guy at a diner table? And then, working out your problems with your father in therapy this way.
Also, is Mellencamp's a short man, right? How tall is he?
He's like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, because there's a couple of times in the movie where I'm like, is this a child?
No, I mean, Mariel Hemingway is a good 6 inches taller than him in some of these shots. Like,
it's very Hobbit-y at times when he's walking around. It's very like Frodo and Gandalf.
But I also kind of love that, he's not Tom Cruise about it. He doesn't need to be on risers. Like, he's fine being shorter than other people in the frame, it seems like.
How did we feel about the music in this?
So the line on this movie really is that like Mellencamp doesn't sing. So what's the point? Yes. And I love that about it because he does sing first of all, but it's just like casually. And in these moments, like we said, with that Welfare Line song that he keeps singing, he plays the guitar at one point, but he's just like messing around or tuning it. I think I don't even think he plays it, but there are a bunch of Mellencamp songs in it. Some of them played by other people.
The only song on the soundtrack he wrote is the Buzzin' Cousins.
The Buzzin' Cousins song. The Traveling Hillbillies.
Yeah. The other songs he sings were written by other people. I think Larry Crane wrote.
Yeah, Larry Crane wrote a number of songs in this.
Yeah.
And again, I want to come back to him just for a brief moment because I think his performance is so fucking great and just so natural and charming, and he's immediately lovable.
Yeah.
As Remy, the good illegitimate brother. Illegitimate. I don't want to keep using that word. I feel like that's a fucked up word.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody, the word they use, though.
But a born out of wedlock child, a bastard. He's a bastard, bro.
He's the Jon Snow of the whole Mellencamp universe.
But isn't he the one that wrote that song that Mellencamp liked so much? He was like, fuck it, we're putting this on the album. I'm going to record it.
No, that was Toby Myers.
Okay, that's the guy who plays the bassist in this film. Or that's the bassist who plays the chicken farm employee in this film. He's the other one that's in the truck. Anyway, I just think his performance is terrific, and I think his songs are good.
There's a moment somewhere, I forget where they are, and there's a Johnny Cash song playing in the background. Mm-hmm. So it's not really like on the soundtrack. And I just remember thinking, even in 93, that's when this movie came out, right?
92.
92.
That had to be a nightmare to get rights to.
Yeah. Well, there's for Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's Cash. John Prine is in this movie.
But it was also right before all the American recordings.
Oh, you're right.
Johnny Cash was still, the market.
He wasn't really doing much.
Yeah.
So I could see, I feel like 2 years later, that song would have been really hard to clear.
Yeah. There's a Connie Francis song.
Yeah.
There's
James, one of the Buzzin' Cousins, the Traveling Wilburys type group they formed for this. It's John Mellencamp, Dwight Yoakam, and James McMurtry. Dwight Yoakam, if people have never
and John
listened,
Prine too, right? Isn't he one
John
of the
Prine
buzzing
in
cousins?
it?
I
I
think
don't
he
think
might
he
be.
is. I could be wrong. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm an expert.
I'm not either. I'm just wondering.
Let's see.
Yeah. Joe Eli, James McMurtry, John Mellencamp, John Prine, and Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
So
At least
said,
on this song that's in the movie.
like I said, he's a total member. I don't know why anyone doubted him. Yeah.
But Dwight Yoakam, if people haven't listened to him, just go listen to the song 1,000 Miles from Nowhere. If you don't like that song, you're not going to fuck with Dwight Yoakam at all. It's his most accessible song. It sounds like him doing a John Lennon song, and it is such a fucking banger. Oh, what? He's got one other song. I think it's called Fast As You. Woof. That's a fucking banger too. I'm
a fan of his performance in Panic Room, personally.
I liked him in Sling Blade. James McMurtry, he's only got one song that I care about. It's called Choctaw Bingo. I will put it in the notes. It's such a banger. I said on the last episode that it is a riff on Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. I'm wrong. The Chuck Berry song is called Can't Catch Me. And it's the same song John Lennon got sued over for the song Come Together. So Choctaw Bingo actually also sort of sounds like Come Together.
Oh, wow.
The vocal melody, the way all three songs, the way they sing the melody is the same, but James McMurtry actually acknowledged it and John Lennon did not.
So you go like, so I'm trying to picture what I'll just have to listen to it.
It is such a good song. Like the first line is about filling a baby bottle up with cherry cola. So you got to sell meth in Oklahoma. It's fucking
that's great.
Fill up bottles with that cherry cola. You go selling crack and going on the street. Now I said,
Travis, for never having heard the song, you are fucking nailing it.
Wow.
It sounds exactly like that. Because it sounds like the Chuck Berry song, but it's so good. But yeah, the music in this, the soundtrack, I haven't listened to it, but
is it available? Because I was trying to find it on a streamer, but it's not available. You'd have to find the tracks individually.
Yeah, I could only find track lists. I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, but I
will be looking for the record if there's a vinyl release of it.
Oh, I'll keep an eye out. Don't expect your Christmas stockings filled with vinyl of this record.
Yeah, the music was great. I kind of liked that Mellencamp didn't sing in this. Also, for one thing, when would he have?
When he turned into a werewolf, he started singing.
I think the only time it would have made sense is if. And this might have actually helped if there was a scene right up top of him performing. And then it cuts into like the private jet stuff and whatnot. Because then maybe we'd get some insight into why he's so unhappy. Because we don't.
Yeah.
It's just a general malaise, it seems like. And it's sort of like, why are you being this way, you big baby?
It could have also worked in the country club scene because there's a live band there.
Yeah, and which is fronted by his brother, by the way. The guy fronting the band in that scene is Joe Mellencamp.
Oh, that's rad.
Nice.
But if they'd have been like, hometown heroes in town, why don't you get on stage with us? And they like made him perform with them, and it becomes this. I just want to be a person. I just want to be in my small town, and I can't escape this.
Yeah,
could have done it there.
Yeah.
This speaks to a bigger thing to me about why another reason I like this film. I find it kind of refreshing as a type of movie that doesn't get made anymore in a lot of ways. But one of those ways is the lack of the music connection in it, where it's allowed to feel more thematic and more as background. Because, when people make movies now about music stars, they do kayfabe. Like they write and record and produce original songs for it. They give it would be constant, if this movie were made now, he'd walk into a diner and they'd be playing one of his music videos on TV or something inexplicably, or like somebody would be listening to it on the radio and he'd be like, "Shut it off," they would.
Y'all want to hear that song? I'll play that song for you right now, and
yeah, they would overdo it, and so I'm with you that it would have been nice to get a little something, maybe like you said at the beginning of him coming off a show or something, and maybe there's give us a seminal moment of him having a bad time backstage.
Right.
That way, at least we get that when he's in this town. But the movie chooses to only show us him in this town and dealing with this shit. So you kind of have to figure out, like, you know, again, as you get to know his family and that town and you start to understand. And then when Deidre O'Connell, as his sister, gives him that speech about you never fit in, it's like by then you get it. But it takes a while to get into that.
So that scene that you're talking about, when he went, I kind of lost track of who everybody was throughout the movie. So when he sat down with that woman, I was like, is this another small town lady that he's going to have sex with?
Is she fucking his dad too?
And then there was like, oh, that's his sister. And then I was like, is he going to fuck her?
Well, yeah, because kind of at that point, all bets are off,
Yes,
right? Like,
yeah.
you don't know what's going to happen. So many things have, like, you've been like, wait, is that? Oh, God, no, it's worse than I thought.
I do love that scene with his sister, if we're talking about the same one, because she delivers a really great kind of set of lines that reminds me of this Tom Waits quote, because Tom Waits lives in a crazy small town somewhere in northern or central California. And someone asked him about it in an interview once. And he was like, well, I've seen the world. I've been all over the world. And if you've seen the world, a small town is paradise. If you grew up there and never left, a small town is a prison. And that's what she's trying to convey to him.
Yep.
She's like, we're stuck.
Yeah.
We cannot leave. You got out. Go do shit. Don't come back here and be stuck here like us.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe I want to be stuck. And it's like, what this reminded me of, at least in terms of his conflict, it reminded me of the Springsteen movie, where it's like, just put the fucking album out then. You're Bruce Springsteen. Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, what? Like, it feels like, at least in the Springsteen movie and kind of in this, like they're both manufacturing problems. Like, man, shit's going so well. I need to have something to bitch about. And it's like, you don't always have to.
Yeah, I think the difference, though, is I think that's kind of the point of this movie. I think this movie is indicating that it knows that. And it's sort of I mean, it's hard to parse out, again, because of how much is autobiographical, how much is, you know, it's weird. There are things in this film that you're like, well, this must be who you really are. And it's kind of like brave to be this vulnerable about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but I do think in that scene in particular, she has that great line about you come back and it rattles the trap.
Yeah.
And I love that because also that sets up the cage metaphor, but it's like you spent the entire movie watching the trap get rattled. And it's manufactured problems, but like there's something in just the contrast of his wealth and what he thinks it gives him access to, and the people around him and their little, you know, that lets me know that like this movie knows he's full of shit and that he's making up his own problems. But there's an empathy too, just because it's like you see what a monster his dad was. Yeah. So you can only infer like, oh, this guy beat the shit out of him regular. Had to it.
This, in terms of the autobiographical angle, sort of reminds me of the Korn song about Jonathan Davis getting molested. Yeah. And we later find out, oh no, that's about my friend's dad. Yeah. That's not about my dad. And it's like, imagine being Jonathan Davis's dad and being like, son, are you going to clarify that that's not me? And meanwhile, in this super seemingly autobiographical film, Mellencamp's dad is fucking everyone in the family. And from all indications, that was not what happened in Mellencamp's real life. I don't think his dad fucked any of his daughter-in-laws. Yeah, but Mellencamp's making it seem like he did. And not just like PJ in the scene where she says, I'm screwing your father. She says that he's a force of nature and she was just in the way, which implies that maybe it wasn't entirely consensual. Yeah. And that, you know, and we see that in the scene with him and Mariel Hemingway, how quickly he moves from like being sweet with the flower and dancing to violence. Yeah. And it's there's a lot of implication in here that's like, I don't know. Yeah, if I were Mellencamp's dad, I'd probably be like, did you have to make him me? Yeah. Yeah, that's maybe that's why the dad's name is Speck, because in real life, Speck is the grandfather. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you have to know the Mellencamp lore so deep at that point.
Yeah. Then they make the grandfather this lovable old scamp who he buys a quad for.
Yeah, he also seems like he's the guy who goes like, New York City! Like he seems like the old cookie in like every
Well,
Western.
yeah, that's just because it's Dub Taylor.
I know.
Yeah.
There's one line that I felt was the most holding John Mellencamp's feet to the fire that I was kind of surprised was in there. So when Alice is getting ready to leave, I think it's when she's getting ready to leave, she comes up to him and she's like, this small town romance that you have is bullshit. You didn't grow up here. You grew up in New York. You grew up in Los Angeles. You grew up in Nashville. You're not from here.
Yeah.
And so like, I really liked that aspect of like, well, yeah, because Mellencamp left small town when he was 19, right? Because that's when he was like going to New York and being like, hey, I made this record. And they're like, thanks, Johnny Cougar. You're a rock star now. Yeah. So I kind of liked that, like popping the bubble or popping the balloon of, I'm a small town guy. No, you're not.
Really. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Also, you were a model. Like you were, and that ties into all this stuff about his dad being like, I wanted to make you a man. You're doing all this not man shit. And yeah, it ties in. I do think that there is something to be said for the idea that you might have to be something of a cougar head to really understand that. To really get like, again, because that whole, like you said, he didn't come up with his name Johnny Cougar. That was kind of done to him, but it was by him leaving this town that all happened to him. So you kind of have to like know that to understand the pathos underneath Mellencamp's seemingly like pity party that he's throwing for himself in every scene.
Yeah. So we should talk about the end of this movie.
Sure.
Unless Andy, you had a lot of questions in your notes. Is there anything you want to ask us before we wrap this up by talking about the amazing climax of this film?
Yeah, well, first of all, do either of you have experience with small town America in this way? As I'm sure we talked about this both. Yeah. We all kind of have, do we feel this? I personally, I didn't grow up in a small town, but my dad did. Really tiny ass small town. Seymour, in fact, is the same name as Mellencamp's, but in Iowa. And I get it. Like, this feels right on the money to me as far as that stuff is concerned, as far as like the accuracy of what is life in a small town like, and what does it look like, and what are the struggles, and what are the small joys people have.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like with small towns, it's very much a thing where people who are unfamiliar with them have an image in their head of what every small town is like. Mm-hmm. And it's not accurate. I think people picture mostly white Trump supporters. And it's like, no, that's just not the case. I mean, that's going to be the case in a small town like that. But when you get into the South, you're going to have small towns where everyone's black. You have small towns where it's primarily Latino people. Like, it's such a wide range of things that I don't think you can I think you can only give a accurate portrayal of small town life to people who have a vision of small town life in their head. Mm-hmm. But I think if you've actually experienced and dealt with small towns, it's not a set in stone thing. It's not, there's really no way to summarize it like that.
I'd say the only, go ahead.
Which I think is kind of, again, I think that's another point in the film, is that like, it knows that any picture it paints is going to be incomplete. That's why it doesn't tie a lot of stuff up.
And this movie does a great job of not romanticizing being in a small town.
Yeah, no.
Because this isn't a fun situation anyone's in.
No. And they're not, a lot of the people are self-aware about it too. Like, that's the other thing, is that like, these people are not ignorant, They might lack a certain, corner of information in their worldview regarding a lot of things, but they're not stupid. Yeah. They're not like blind to where they are and what their problems are.
Yeah. I think if there's a blanket statement that can be true about small towns, it's that gossip is king. Everybody knows it. Like, people love to talk, and there's only so many people to talk about. So there are no secrets really in a small town, especially if you have the nicest car in a small town. Everyone's going to know where you were. And also, too, what there is to do for entertainment in a small town is limited. Yeah. So
that's why you put yourself in a cage.
Yeah. Well, or a roller rink, or the country club,
or sleep with every male member of a family.
Yeah. Because sometimes you're just bored. You're like, I've been to the country club. You know what I haven't been with? My father-in-law. So let's give that a shot.
Yeah. I also want to say that on this note, like, I think it's not as angry as a lot of his music from this era about these subjects.
Yeah.
Like I do think it fits in with like Scarecrow and why
Lonesome
am I
Jubilee.
yeah, Lonesome Jubilee. That's it. Yeah. It there's a lot of it's a companion piece, I think.
Yeah.
And I appreciate its place there. And I also want to point out, on the note of small town, my favorite, I think, stretch in this film is when he's going around Doak City. And it's before, I think is it leading up to the affair, or it might be after the affair, but there's a montage sequence of him going around the town and doing and then there's that Larry Crane song or the John Prine song, I should say, All the Best, is playing during it. And I love it. And he bums a cigarette from a guy at a gas station at one point, and then
they're
stops.
just smoking in front of a pump.
Yeah, that's the scene where I remember him smoke. Now is they're at a gas station.
Now that is small town shit.
Yes.
Right there. I lived in upstate New York briefly, in the kind of house that you have to put heating oil in every winter. And the guy who would come fill the heating tank would just smoke Newports as he was putting fucking heating oil in the tank. It's like, you are going to blow up my house, sir. Stop it. And he did not stop it.
Yeah. No, but that bit ends with him stopping at the river to go fishing. And he meets that woman, Mrs. Green, that he knows is out there fishing, and she's talking about the bait. And that might be my favorite moment in the entire film, is just that little conversation about, you can borrow my fishing pole, just bring it back, And
that is a quintessential John Mellencamp moment there, because that's him doing what he does in his videos a lot, and putting black people in roles that they're just being people. They're just regular ass people in his life. I forgot to mention it on the episodes where we talked about that, but he got death threats over that shit.
Wow.
He got death threats from the fucking KKK over that shit, especially the cherry bomb video. People were not happy about it, because that's the one where it's just the guy and the woman slow dancing while Mellencamp's singing, and that guy is feeling her the fuck up. And the racists were really fucking mad about that. So
and
yeah,
John
that
Mellencamp
scene I
doesn't
did
give a
kind of
fuck.
clock it as that's Mellencamp.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love that attitude that he has. And it seems like that's kind of how this movie got made, was him being like, I'm going to do what I want. And they couldn't find anyone else to direct it. Again, I want to very briefly say that one of my favorite filmmakers almost directed this movie, Jonathan Kaplan, who did Over the Edge, The Accused, Heart Like a Wheel, Project X, bunch of other stuff. Mellencamp said in an interview that they took it to other filmmakers, but nobody who was interested in doing it for the money they were willing to offer was interested in doing or understood the material, except for Jonathan Kaplan, who, like this film centers a lot of strong women characters, which is I think another strong point of Kaplan's in some of his films. But long story short, Mellencamp couldn't find anyone to do it, so he just said, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself." And it's part of that spite that is part of his core that I love. That it's the same thing that has him, saying, "Fuck it, we're gonna put this old black woman in this movie, and we're gonna give her this whole moment." That's my favorite thing in the whole film, just because of how it's just a nice little grace note, nice little breather.
But
before we get to this fucked up ending,
yes,
I was going to say, but now we should talk about my favorite part in the film, which is this insane ending, because as it turns out, we end up back where we started. There's that opening scene we mentioned where Mellencamp is shooting a gun in the air and then just lays down in a metal cage that his friends secure him in. And we come back to that scene near the end of the movie, and it turns out Mellencamp's plan for dealing with all this is he's going to have his friends strap him into that cage in the back of the truck and then push the cage out the back of the truck so it can just drag him on the street behind it. I don't know how that's going to help. I don't believe that anyone has ever done this and survived. And
I don't believe anybody's ever done it.
Yeah.
I feel like Larry McMurtry's done it.
I don't know. And when it goes wrong, I laughed so hard. When that cage goes flying past that street sign, I howled and was like, well, Mellencamp's dead, right? He's got to be dead. No one survives that.
You can't kill the cougar.
At that point, I'm still in hopeful werewolf mode. I'm like, A werewolf is going to pop up out of the overgrown grass
and kill both of these guys. The guy, really quick, the guy driving the truck is Gary Bobinger, who's the guy who first said "Nothing Matters and What If It Did" to John Mellencamp, which is why he used it for the album title.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that scene, and that really is kind of the climax of the film, is this big action sequence where John Mellencamp gets pushed out the back of the truck inside a cage
and truck stunt.
And then goes flying off the side of the road like he's in a goddamn luge.
Well, you know it's gonna fucking happen too. There's this whole like pomp and circumstance like build up to it with that the sequence where the sound cuts out, right? Yeah. And it's like a heartbeat sound as he's like strapping in slow-mo. And then just like when you realize what's happening, it's like, oh yeah, this is a disaster. That's 100% something terrible is about to happen.
And what does it look like if that goes well? Does he pop out of that cage and is like, shit, I'm fixed?
It's therapy, bro. It's Indiana therapy.
Or does he go, that was great. Let's go again. Let's go. It never stops.
I'm not quite. I still got some demons in me. One more time.
And then that sets up one of my favorite scenes where they are at Mellencamp's bedside. He has somehow survived this incident.
Well, he's got a neck collar and IVs, and both his arms are broken.
I will say this is a part where I'm like, my suspension of disbelief is straining because he would look way more fucked up.
It was way less fucked up than he would.
It's Wile E. Coyote level of like in the hospital. It's like he's just fallen off the cliff and he's just got like a couple of bandages and a neck brace.
His legs up. Yeah.
And then the old woman standing over him goes, men in this family always have been accident prone. And that's
not
when
an accident, lady.
Someone in the room jumps in with exactly what I was thinking, which is that's not an accident. That's jackass shit.
Yeah.
That is not an accident.
And then one by one, several more people proceed to get one last, like they're like, the movie's wrapping up. I got to get one last fuck you in to Bud Parks here.
Yeah.
Like while he like the guy is practically in a coma and his brother's like, man, you're such an asshole.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I also kept forgetting that his character's name was Bud. And I just thought that was just like, everybody just kind of call like, you know what, Bud, you need to get your shit together. Like, I just thought that's what they called. Like
that would make it really weird when he's to Mariel Hemingway and he's like, I want you to say, I love you, buddy.
But I mean, it's like, if you went to your partner, you're like, I just want to hear you say, I love you, dude. You're like, okay.
I'm going to tell my partners tonight, and they're like, can you say, I love you, homie? Say, I love you, my dude, or my big dog, my baby boy.
Bro. Say you love me, bro.
Say, bro. I love you, bro.
No cap.
Speaking of, that scene with her, I would have ended it any other way. I feel like that scene, that ending is just kind of like, I think it's really the line, the final line where she's like, I don't have to. And it's like, what do you think that line buys you? What do you think that means, Larry McMurtry? Why is this line in this movie? Say, I love you, buddy. I don't have to. What? That's where I'm with you. Where I'm like, you guys fucked up here.
But then the very, very end of the movie, it just says the end. Like I never felt like I felt like I was like, that's the end.
Maybe they were setting it up for a sequel.
I would love a legacy sequel to Falling from Grace.
Rising to Grace?
35 years later. Yeah. Rising to
Falling from Gracer?
Grace Harder.
Grace Harder. Yeah.
Back to Grace.
And it's all cages. It's just nothing but.
Well, this is the one where we get to actually make him a were-cougar.
But it's a cage match, and that two trucks driving two cages are going to go crash into each other. It's going to be him and the fancy brother. They're going to cage ram.
Wait, so I'm confused about the rules of the cage ram. Are they so? There's two trucks
two
with
men,
two separate cages.
One person leaves.
two trucks with cages enter. One man leaves. One were-cougar leaves.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's rich with possibility and potential.
And the reason that he survives is because he has supernatural healing abilities now that he's a were-cougar.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. Because a blood transfusion after the first cage issue turned him into a were-cougar.
So this is like a Teen Wolf 2 situation then where everyone in his family is a were-cougar? Like, and that's
He got were-cougar blood in the hospital. They didn't know what to do. So they had to give him
wasn't
cougar
a
blood.
cougar before.
Yeah.
That's the irony.
Yeah. They gave him a cougar blood transfusion, and then that bonded with him, and now he's a were-cougar.
Fuck it. I love it.
Funny if he showed up right now to correct us and be like, actually, I'm a melon wolf.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. And he literally turns into like what looks like a watermelon, but it's a wolf.
Yeah.
And it's smoking.
Yeah.
So I think that's our episode. Do we have any final thoughts on Fallen from Grace? We'll link to you can watch this on YouTube if you want to.
You got to watch it. No summation can do it justice, really.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's a weirder movie called Wilder Napalm about two brothers who don't really get along, and they're reigniting their feud. And by reigniting, I mean they also have the mental ability to start fires with their mind. And that movie is less jarring than this movie.
Yeah, I texted you both last night that this movie, in my opinion, is crazier than Jaws 4, which is pretty impressive because Jaws 4 is about a shark that swims to the Caribbean to seek vengeance on one family. Mm-hmm. One family of people, not sharks.
Yeah, in the original, I think in the novelization it's this way, but in the original script it was a shark guided by a voodoo curse.
Well, they should have just done that. It would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, there was a whole through line of like understanding the shark's motive beyond revenge.
Oh, okay. They humanized the shark. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They should have humanized the shark in this movie.
I do love Jaws 4, by the way. I think it's an underrated film, and it's a great Christmas movie.
It is rated exactly as it needs to be rated. But we did it. That's our episode. This was supposed to be a bonus episode, but I might just put it out for free. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. He was going to do a follow-up about the music industry, and I really wish we'd gotten that film.
Yeah. He just wouldn't have been able to smoke enough.
Exactly.
That's what kept him away from movies after this. So thank you both for doing the pod. As always, what do we have to plug before we get out of here? We got a lot of shit coming up. I don't want to plug anything right now. I'll tell you later. Travis, what do you want to plug?
I don't. Follow me on whatever profile you enjoy. Track Rivals on Instagram. Travis Clark on Blue Sky.
Andy.
All right, well, I'll take Travis's plug time. New episodes of Look Good for the Boys. If you're in the Twin Cities area, you should go to Dream State Cafe Saturday the 25th. My partner will be DJing a mutual aid event in the afternoon. I don't know the exact time, but I'm sure it's on Dream State Cafe's social media. It's the one DJ Gonda is doing. And also, hey, if you're in the Twin Cities in mid-September to late September, we haven't nailed down an exact date, but Restless Equinox Independent Film Fest is coming back to Imagine Willow Creek Theaters. So you can see some regional micro-budget horror made by freaks and misfits.
And I think that's it. Let's get the fuck out of here. Travis, say goodbye.
Lock me in the cage, boys. I'm going.
Andy, say goodbye.
I've done this 1,000,000 times.
Goodbye, everybody. We love steel cages.